There we go. Let's go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture. And when you're ready, please go ahead and bring your awareness to the exhalation of your breath, allowing your exhalation to be a bit longer and a bit more pronounced than your inhalation. Please experiment with pausing briefly at the bottom of each exhalation. Now is not the time to reflect on events that have occurred in the past. Those events cannot be changed, undone, or relived. Nor is this the time to speculate about events that may or may not occur in the future. The future is completely uncertain. Now is the time to be fully present here in this moment. Now is the time to give yourself permission to enjoy engaging in a practice that's going to bring you a peaceful state of mind. And with that, I'd like you to please bring your awareness to your big toes, your two big toes. In particular, please bring your awareness to the tips of your toes, where there are nerve endings, and oftentimes a good deal of stress is collected at the very tips of our toes. Allow that stress to release now. Just let go of it. And now bring your awareness, please, to the pads of your big toes, the underside of your big toe. Then allow any tension there that may have accumulated to release. Very gently and deliberately, just let that tension go. Any tension that may be residing there at the pads, the undersides of your big toes. As well as the pads for the other 8 toes, your second toe, the middle toe, the, what would we call it, the 4th toes and the little toes at the end of your foot. All of these toes, the undersides, the padded parts of these toes, just let go now. Release any tension that might be residing there. You don't need it, so you can just release it now. And now bring your awareness, please, to the undersides of both feet. The part of the heel that touches the floor, the ground, the balls of your feet, the arches. It makes sense that this lower part of our body might be a reciprocal or a receptacle of stress and tension. Just release that tension now, that stress. Feel free to let it go into the earth, knowing that it will bring no harm to any sentient being. In fact, you're benefiting sentient beings by releasing that stress, that tension. So just let it go now. And we can move on up now into our ankles and our shins. Tension that may be in our calf muscles and in those muscles at the front of our shins that come right up to our shin bone. It makes sense that there could be tension and tightness in these muscles. Residual stress, perhaps having collected over several years. Please release that tension now. Just let it go, as well as tension in the calves, the calf muscles, the back parts of your lower legs. Just release. Release and let go. The knees. Many physiologists and yoga instructors agree that we carry a tremendous amount of tension in our knees. Around the kneecaps, the sides of the knees, the back side of the knee. That part of the knee where the shin bone enters into the region of the knee. Tremendous amount of stress can be carried in these areas. Just let that go now completely. Completely release that tension and tightness. Just let it go. And on up into the muscles in the upper parts of our legs, the largest muscle sets in our body. How could we not be carrying tension and tightness in these muscle sets? The top parts of the upper parts of our legs, the back side, the sides, and all the tendons and ligaments in there. And the cells that comprise those tendons and ligaments. Please release any tension that might be in this area completely. Any tension, tightness, just let that go now. Just release it. In particular, bring your awareness to your hips and your pelvic area. This part of the body that almost serves as an intersection between the lower and upper parts of our body. Tension may be on the sides of our hips. A lot of movement takes place there. The front and the pelvic region, the backside, our buttocks, all that entire region. Just release any stress that's there. Even if you've never detected any stress in this area, it's safe to assume that there is stress and tension there. So just release that now. Just let go of it. And now gently, please bring your awareness to your belly, to the region of your abdomen. Your solar plexus, the region around your navel. We know that we carry tension and stress in this part of our body. Just let that stress go now. Give yourself permission to release it completely and let go. Up into our rib cage, the area of our rib cage, and cartilage and other material in between our ribs. How could there not be tension there? So many bones, so many physiological features. Tension in the front part of our chest, our rib cage area. Just release that tension now. Release that stress completely and let it go. And up toward our breastplate and our neck and our throat. Our Adam's apple. And on the sides of the Adam's apple. Tension there that may prevent us from speaking our truth, from singing our truth. Vocal cords, tension perhaps in the vocal cords. Release that tension now. Release completely and let go. On up into your face, around your jaw, the joints of your jaw. Perhaps a place where we carry the most tension in all of our bodies. In our jaw, sometimes, frequently, so much tightness there, so much tension. Let go of that now and just release it. Up into our cheeks. That area just beneath our cheekbones, above the upper teeth and below the cheekbone. That area in there, that fleshy area. Release any tension there, as well as any tension in any other parts of your body, any other part of your face, maybe the muscles around your eyes, maybe tension that you might be carrying in your tear ducts. Release that now completely, even to a cellular level. And let go. And finally, just one final surrendering of any tension, any stress that may be in your body waiting to be released, including into your shoulders and your arms, down into your hands and fingers. You have complete freedom to release any form of residual tension, no matter how great or subtle it might be. Just let that go now. Release it completely and let go. And for the last moment or two of our meditation this morning, please just rest in quiet stillness and don't do anything. And please remember this experience of being fully embodied. Please very gently now redirect your awareness and become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your body. And please allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of your surroundings inside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of nearby mountains, of nearby continents, of nearby planets, of different nearby solar systems. We dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all beings without exception be completely free from all forms of mental and physical suffering. May all beings without exception be happy, peaceful, contented, and free. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Welcome back, everyone. So that meditation practice is going to be a constant for us on our Friday sessions. That releasing tension within the body, tension and tightness and stress. You may remember that I talked a little bit on Monday about the fact, well, I've talked about it a number of times over the last few sessions that we've had, about the body's ability to receive anything and everything in an open, unfiltered way, to experience directly without the filter of conceptual thought. That's because the nature of the consciousness of the body is necessarily non-conceptual awareness. The challenge that comes in, or the problem, we can call it a problem, is that the thinking mind interrupts, imposes itself into the situation, and thus preempts the body from receiving that which it is ready and able to receive and happy to receive. And as such, there is unprocessed material there that resides in the body, typically in the form of stress. And as I mentioned on Monday, not just muscular, not just in the bones, but at a cellular level, at a subcellular level. And I kind of gave away the game on Monday, didn't really give it away, but disclosed. It's a pretty profound, maybe even radical notion, but the more I sit with it, the longer I sit with it, the more compelling it is that material which is unprocessed, residing in the body as a result of the thinking mind saying, no, I can't, no more, I'm going to stop here, I'm going to put up a firewall. That material is actually karma. And I left out an adjective on Monday. It's actually unresolved karma. And please contemplate that. The prospect of unresolved karma residing within the body in the form of tension and stress. As you know, over the last year of our practice together, clearing karma, clearing unresolved karma, exhausting negative karma is really, really important, because it gets in the way. Our true nature is that of enlightenment, actually. Our true underlying nature, people can refer to it using different terms. It actually defies description. It actually defies labels, which are conceptual constructs. Some people call it our God self. Some people call it Buddha nature. Some call it universal compassion. Whatever label you want to apply to that purity that is our nature, nothing needs to be added. It is there, ready to blossom and unfold in its entirety. The reason that it hasn't blossomed and unfolded in its entirety is because stuff is in the way. Unresolved karma, basically, is in the way. And this releasing, this meditation that we did, is a means of releasing that unresolved karma. In addition to the mantra recitation technique that we also use as part of our meditation. So in some spiritual paths, they refer to end game, to the end of the path, like full awakening, as being getting off of the karmic wheel. Getting off of the wheel whereby we create karma and experience it, create karma and experience it, or create karma, have some of it that's not resolved, experience some of it, and then it just keeps building up. It keeps building and building. Please give yourself permission to imagine what it would be like to get off of that karmic wheel. And keep in mind, the fully ripened effect of karma is feelings. So if we don't create any karmic causes anymore, and we don't experience karmic results, we are abiding in a state of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness, not being blown about by the winds of karma, resolved or otherwise. It's a really deep, profound, maybe foreign notion for us, but please think about that, about what the implications of that might be. So we've talked about, over the last few classes, we've talked about you should know suffering. We talked about the suffering of dukkha. Remember that? D-U-K-K-H-A, dukkha, this state of unsatisfactoriness. There's no great translation into the English language. It's a Pali term, dukkha, and it doesn't translate well, but the closest we can come to is unsatisfactoriness. Something, this sense, this constant low-grade tension that something is missing. I need something else. I'm not at ease. I'm in a state of almost constant dis-ease because something's missing. This feels incomplete. Dukkha manifests itself, or how shall I say this? Dukkha intersects at its most fundamental level with our sense of self, with the I that we cling to and grasp onto almost constantly. This sense of self, me, I, gives rise, as we discussed in last night's Meditation for Everyone class, this I that we hold on to and grasp at so constantly and desperately, this I which gives rise to this I, self, synonyms, this self that gives rise to other, self and other. We regard them as being separate and distinct rather than being interconnected. This confused notion of self and other not only thinks that I am independent and separate from you, but our happiness and suffering are independent from one another. My happiness and suffering is completely unrelated to yours. And not only that, your happiness comes at the expense of my happiness. Therefore, your happiness is depriving me of my happiness. That makes you the enemy. And I must neutralize you at best, eliminate you at worst. That's kind of the consequences, the causal consequences of self. Self is just a made-up idea. It's just a made-up idea. It's empty, like everything else, empty of inherent existence, as we've talked about. Because if we go to try to identify an inherent, intrinsically existing self, we can't find it. All we find is an absence of self. We're not saying that there's nothing there, again, not saying that there's nothing there, but in terms of an inherently existing self, an independently existing self doesn't depend on anything else. It's independent, doesn't even depend on causes. Ultimately, we can't find it. The sense of self is a made-up idea. So Monday, we are going to go into, as promised, we are going to go into discussion and practices of how we can eliminate this confused notion of self and other in our daily life outside of the meditation practice. There's practice during the meditation session. There's practice during the meditation break. What we're going to focus on for the next several classes is our practice during the meditation break with specific regard to the self, how we can see it manifest and how we can awaken to the illusion of self. And buckle your seatbelt, because this is going to be an interesting ride, a potentially challenging ride, and hopefully a transformative ride. So thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for the effort that you apply to your meditation practice and your practice of training the mind. Have a good day and a good weekend.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you again, Jeff. So interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're most welcome.